you give us maybe an indication of milk production, performance, general characteristics like that?
I guess since we moved up here, we've been measuring them. We measure them on an annual basis is the easiest way. So certainly last year we put through just over 1.2 million litres into the creamery. And with the figures of our average 144 cows, we're at about 25 litres a cow, which on a daily rate. Cows are at about 8,500 litres a cow is what they're putting out. It's the 680 solids, kilos of milk solids, 4.3 butter fat and 3.5 protein. The robots, I guess, they're 33% free time, so we've plenty of space to move on them.
Yes.
They're putting out, each robot is doing about 400,000 litres, just over 400,000 litres a year, milking about 124 cows, averaging 124 cows a day, or milkings a day, I should say, not cows a day, milkings a day. So they're earning their keep, but there's space to improve on them. I've got space to push them a little bit harder.
Okay. So how many milkings per cow would a cow do, say, in a 24-hour period?
Depending on her, they're averaging, cows are going through 2.5 days, that's the whole herd average, but you're looking certainly from 1 to 5 milkings. We've nearly a dozen cows giving over in around 50 litres, they're going through 5 times a day.
Okay. Yeah. And say, what kind of technology have you on the robots? Are you
using
Somatics or?
Yes, we're doing Somatics. What else is on the robots? Yeah, Somatic cell count, and I guess the collar.
Steam cleaning?
Yes, they have steam cleaning, which helps to eradicate cross-contamination. And then obviously the collar is picking up the bulling and using the other data from her milking speed, temperament, different bits and pieces to generate a heat detection.
Okay. So your feeding regime then, say in the robot, how much feed are they getting through the robot?
They're on a feed tables, but they're averaging 4.5 kilos a cow through the year.
Yeah.
But that varies massively. They're getting a 16% protein nut from Glanbia, and for the first 50 days of calving, they get stuff called glucosure, liquid sugar feed, to help to negate the ketosis and negative energy in the first 50 days.
Okay.
They get about. In the 50 days, they're getting about 30 or 40 kilos of that. It's just under half a kilo a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dry matter intake, what do you think it is, say, typically for a cow?
Well, the dry
overall?
matter intake, they're getting nearly 20 kilos of dry matter at the feed fence. So I guess a high-yielding cow that's getting 8 kilos of nut, she's at nearly 28 kilos of dry matter, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
Hard to believe. And then I guess they're averaging around 23 kilos of dry matter a cow, in and around that.
Okay.
Yeah. The whole balance is to get the feed fence at the right level that it only fills to about 80% of their energy requirement. And if they're getting 80% there, they'll get 20% when they come into the box.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you overdo the outside one, you won't get them visiting. And if you underdo the outside one, they'll just constantly visit what's called a refusal. So cow will enter and exit. So you're constantly monitoring the computer data to see that your refusals haven't gone up or down, or your visits. So
how did you find getting that balance, say, when you put in the system first, getting the balance between what you fed outside at the feed fence versus?
I think between the help of the Lely support, it was very quick.
Okay.
The cows, we found surprisingly quick. The cows found their feet, we found our feet. I think the whole process of training took about 6 weeks, and after that, we didn't really look back.
Okay. Could you explain your feeding routine then, say, in the winter outside at the feed face with forage, and also during the summer, what kind of a contrast is there?
Yeah, so in the winter, they're getting a TMR or a PMR, partial mixed ration, because they're getting some nuts in the robot, and you've 20 kilos of silage, 20 kilos of maize, 3 kilos of beet, half a kilo of straw, and they get a barley maize meal mix which is about 2 kilos, a coarse ration. And then in the summer, we take out the silage, take out the beet, and we do just a maize and straw buffer with a small bit of rolled barley in it for palatability.
Okay.
And it's just critical. I think the term people have used is the 2-tractor system on this indoor. It's really important. When you're feeding lush zero graze grass, from when we start in about sort of mid-March, late March, when we start going in with zero graze grass, to keep it stop running through them and keep the cows in good condition, we feed the buffer all year round.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And are you growing your own maize?
We grow our own maize. We grow, I think it's about 40 acres of maize and whatever, yeah, all the silage is homegrown as well.
Okay, and are you using plastic for the maize, or do you need to down this part of the world?
We do use plastic, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Say, could we move on to your cow type then? Your cows, they don't look overly tall. They look a nice compact cow.
Yeah, they're about 85 to 90% Holstein mixed with Friesian. Yeah, there's a varying in sizes there, I guess. We're all like with AI, I guess we're looking, as much as it's important to look for robot type, robot ready in the udder and maintenance and stuff, whereas fertility and milk solids, what everyone else is looking for, it's what's the most important thing, I guess, to us.
Yeah.
But they, I guess the breeding is the key part to it, where with the data that we're able to select a brood herd, which we can give sex semen to, and then we have a middle ground herd that will give just a standard Friesian AI straw. And any of the cows that you don't want to cull, but you don't want to get a heifer calf from her, in theory, or a bull or whatever, we'll use beef straws, either Angus or Aubrac or something. We're obviously trying to keep tweaking the herd all the time.
Okay. So your calving pattern then is what are you supplying liquid milk or solids or?
Yeah, we're liquid milk. So we're sort of 60-40 split in the spring and in the autumn, but we're certainly extending that slowly to look for a complete gradual calving pattern where we'd really be just calving all year round and just keep the robots up, keep the numbers in the robots up. We've a shed here with 196 beds in it. There's no reason why we can't have 190 cows in here all day, every day.
Okay. Labour next day as a topic. Could you describe your labour input here on the farm?
Well, there's me and my father, and then we have a labour unit comes and does a couple of just the feeding in the morning. And I guess the layout of the day is start at 8, which is a very reasonable hour to start the day at. Then when the cows are being fed, we do the bedding. And when the bedding is complete, give the robots a clean, have a check, if any chemicals need changing, we do change the filters, all the sort of little bits like that every day. That brings us up to about just after 9 o'clock. After 9, we'll go down now with a bit of fresh milk. We'll feed whatever calves there are down below. And then come back up here and we'll fetch up a couple of late cows, maybe a cow's got a sore foot. And it's about 2 hours then. It's about 10 o'clock when everything is really done for the day. But then there's plenty, obviously, as you know, stuff to be doing. So between 10 and 12, there's either AI, foot pairing, maybe drenching young stock, moving stock, fencing, whatever, the general day-to-day's running of a farm. And come 12 o'clock, sort of check out and back for 3 for, again, second feeding for the cows, whether it's the TMR or zero graze grass. And there'll be, I guess, more AI, maybe treating a cow, fetching up an odd cow. And then about 5 o'clock, you go down with second helpings, or second feeding of milk for the calves. And by 6, it's kind of you're done for the day.
Okay. And is it a typical routine for 7 days a week, or is it quieter at the weekend?
I know. Well, certainly on the weekend after 10 o'clock, you mightn't be doing the hoof pairing. You might have got the AI done already. So you'd probably do 2 hours and in the afternoon, it's maybe you do it all a little bit. It's a little bit quieter, and then it's very flexible in the sense that certainly on a Saturday, if there's a match on, or if there's a party or something like that, the cows might get fed at 6 o'clock in the evening, and you'll do the little bits later. You're not tied to it at all. It's a huge bonus to the whole thing, is that you've that full sort of total flexibility in the afternoons.
And so your lifestyle pre-robots versus now was...
Yeah, dramatically different.
Right.
Yeah. Like certainly for myself, I have 4 young children. I get up, help with the school run now. I used to disappear out of the house at 6 in the morning, inevitably wake up 1 or 2 of them, which wasn't always popular. And now I'm there, I'll help get the breakfast, pack the lunch bags. If I need to, I can run them into school if has to be.
Yeah.
And then similarly, I can pick them up in the afternoon, get back 3 o'clock, do the homework. It's a different way. And I guess the key thing, at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, the kids go to bed, I'm not going to bed. You have the energy to sit up, watch a bit of TV, relax, whatever. You're not burnt out.
Yes.
And it's a lovely way to feel.
Yeah, no, excellent. So when you come in here in the morning, what are you checking?
I'm home. And you look down through your reports. So we're doing a mastitis vaccine, which is new this year. So there'll be cows potentially that need to get that day. The health report is the first one, so you go into that. There's only 1 cow in it at the moment, so it gives a score.
186. She's conductivity left to rear.
Potentially could be.
She's well into lactation. chance of sick is pretty low.
Yes, you might want to check her. And then you have the other one, the critical one, obviously at the moment.
Heat probability.
Is heat probability. So we go into this every day, and you're looking, going right. So these are long lactation cows that aren't in calf, basically. Yeah.
Serve 3 times, and it's giving the optimal time is during the dot moving across the green.
Right.
So you're just checking that for fresh services, and then you've like we say, there's a multitude of your dials here, which are very intuitive for 20. You're obviously looking to see if this is going up. Your milk, you're just checking where they are in it. If they're getting into the red, you're getting nervous. Obviously, milkings per cow is down a little bit, but they're all in a very good. They're all in a very good.
Where's our rumination? Rumination is pretty impressive. At 580 minutes per 24 hours of lying down time.
Well, just shy of 10 hours.
So your camera system then?
These ones are handy for calving during the night. You don't have to get out of bed. They're all online.
Yes.
They're all on your phone. So we have 2 there, and then if she goes into the bed, the calving bed, you have a great picture of her.
Okay.
And then the other thing is handy is if in the middle of the night you get the odd phone call, the alarm. The first thing I can do before you get out of bed, you're on this. And if they see the gate is closed and there's no cow in the robot, you know there's something wrong.
Okay. Jerry, you made mention of the livestock services. We were able to help you sell some stock earlier in the year.
Early in the year we had some surplus yearling heifers, and I think they ended up going north to a customer of yours in Northern Ireland, and we sold quite a number of last spring's Friesian heifer calves over to the UK.
Okay.
And it was very efficient. The big benefit for me is the safety in going through a third party like yourselves, that quite apart from your contacts and the fact you find buyers, it's the security of payment is a very significant thing. I'm conscious of the fact that there are people out there who take an advantage of a system where if it's going through a third party, you know you're going to get paid for your stock.
The speed of service as well, and the approachability of the agent Liam that we dealt with made it all very easy. So it was so simple to put we put the catalogue together on ICBF. Once he got his hands on the catalogue, very quickly he had suggested people, and no sooner had we had people, we'd made a deal and it was done. It's brilliant.
Good to hear.
For calves, you're unsure as to how to go about it. I think the Liam gave us the guidance in terms of how to make them, grouping them, photographing them, cataloguing them, everything that makes it professional. Yeah. Professional gives it when you give it a professional look, you're going to get a good customer at a good price.
We would have quite a few customers in Northern Ireland, say, and in the UK who would like robot stock, so it helps sell the story as well. So they have a suitability for it. So no, we're glad we were able to help.
No, it worked well.
No, and we'll be going again.
We'll be back again.
Yeah.
A happy customer.
That's good to hear.